everybody. Welcome to the Julie and Jim Traber Podcast. I am Jim Traber, along with my beautiful wife, Mrs. Julie Traber. How are you?
I'm really good, but the question is, how are you?
I'm not doing so good.
Jim had a little spill today.
I don't know if it was little.
Did you want to share it with everyone?
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, everybody knows I can do some stupid stuff, so. Okay, so we are taping this podcast on a Thursday. Normally we do it on Wednesday, but today's Thursday. And every Thursday we take our two grandsons because, you know, we've told before that Julie has the grandsons one on Monday, one on Tuesday, one on Wednesday, and then we have both of them together on Thursday. So we always go to our mall up here, Quail Springs Mall. And we go to the food court and we get food. You guys eat at Chick-fil-A every single time.
Yes.
And then I get different things. So you called ahead to get your Chick-fil-A ordered.
Well, the reason I called ahead, because this is critical to the story.
Yes.
I see buses pulling in front of us, and I'm like, oh, that's always a bad sign at the Chick-fil-A line because we are parking, and there are, well, because it's the best thing there. But there's like 4 buses. So that means there's going to be a lot of students in the food court for lunch.
That's right.
So I sit in the car and I place my order. And of course, we get down to the food court, and there are obviously it's choirs, yeah. Choirs. They're all dressed up in black, all these young kids.
I remember when I used to do that. Anyway, so I get one of the cars.
You snagged one of the booths.
I snagged the cars for you and the 2 boys, and I wait. You come back, and then I say, I'm going to go get a gyros. I've known this guy for, 30 years. Anyway, so I go over, and I tell him he already knows what I want. And I look, and he has a big cooler, and he has a grape crush in there. Well, I'm going to tell you this, people. I love grape soda. And I haven't been drinking any sodas at all. I really haven't been. I've been losing a little weight, if you can tell. So
you decided to splurge today.
I decided to splurge and said, give me a grape crush. And it's in a bottle. So I get the grape crush.
That's key. It's in a glass bottle.
So I walk over to where you guys are, and the kids are everywhere. And there's this little space for me to walk through. So I was just getting ready to say to this kid, don't worry, you don't have to move. I've lost weight. That's what I was getting ready to say to him, okay? All right.
You were feeling skinny.
Yep. And as I start to walk through this little area, he picks his chair up and starts to move it in. Well, my foot hits that chair. And I go sprawling like I was doing a swan dive into a swimming pool.
Now, my back is to Jim, so I don't know any of this is happening until he comes sliding past our booth. And I hear the bottle bust.
The bottle just shatters.
So glass goes everywhere.
And I fall right on top of the bottle.
Yeah.
And I've got on what I've got on right now. If you could be here and smell my shirt,
it smells. Was scratch and sniff.
That's right.
Yeah.
It smells like grape soda. Okay, I'm just telling you. If you want to smell it, you can do it. So,
but it missed your shorts entirely, which is amazing.
It did. My shorts are amazing, and everybody knows I wear my jeans and my shorts multiple days. Yeah. So this was very important that my shorts didn't get messed up. But I popped up. Like you could not believe. Tell him, Jill. Tell him.
He did. He just jumps right up.
I mean, I brag a lot, and people think, and I always say it's not not bragging if it's true, but most 64-year-old men would be in a hospital room right now.
But It was crazy. All I heard was this collective, like, from
all
these kids, and they're all standing up, and all eyes were on you.
That's right. Everybody in the mall was looking at me, laying on grape soda. Okay, with glass everywhere. Well, I get up.
Everyone was really worried except for the 2 grandsons, and they were giggling.
The minute I stand up, I look at my grandsons, and they're both laughing at me. And I go, are you guys laughing at me? And my little one, Clyde, who's getting ready to be 3 next month, he goes, it's funny, Big Daddy. And I was like, oh, my gosh. So
Until
I couldn't
they
get on.
saw blood.
And then I'm letting y'all know, people, you can see my Band-Aid. I had one on this one, too, but I'll tell you about this in a second. But, Julie, tell them how much blood was coming out of this thing.
It was just spurting everywhere.
It was unbelievable. And I thought,
so gross.
I think I hit a vein with this glass. I am so lucky because after I started driving to work after that, I thought the glass could have hit my neck or my eye or my veins. Or I mean, I could have been rushed to the hospital.
Yeah, there was glass everywhere.
But anyway, so I go to the bathroom. And because I'm so sticky with grape soda. So I'm washing my hands and my arms and blood's coming out and I'm getting like a tissue and I'm putting it on it. And I thought to myself, I'm not going back. I'm going to call Julie and say, Jewel,
you were gone so long. I literally had just picked up my phone to call you and say, do you want to leave? Because I thought maybe.
I thought seriously about leaving because I'm going to let you know, people, this was really embarrassing. Okay? I mean, there were 70 kids within, 20 feet of me, all right? So I said, no, go back, eat your gyros, and go ahead and be with the family. So I come walking back out, and I am bleeding like crazy, and everybody is looking at me. I mean, you know how, like, if you had, like, 3 heads and you were walking into a room?
Plus there's 3 young people having to mop up the mess right beside
people
us.
Are mopping the mess up. So I go by, and I say, hey, I'm really sorry. They go, oh, no problem. It happens all the time. And I'm like, not this. This doesn't happen all the time. So I sit back down, and we eat. And I still feel terrible, and I'm just bleeding like crazy. And you go to Chick-fil-A, and you get 2 Band-Aids.
Yeah.
So we put a Band-Aid around, and if you can see, you can see the blood through the Band-Aid. So we go to the play area, and in this thumb over here, I mean, it just hurts, and I just feel like it's really messed up. So I'm looking at it, and I take my teeth, and I start to dig, and it's glass. And I mean, glass is coming out of my finger, like a lot of glass in my mouth. You know, you ever chew on glass? It's like, you know. So I'm out and I'm spitting it out and everything. I didn't spit it in the play area. I spit it over the thing. And then now this starts bleeding like crazy, right?
Yeah.
So I have to put the Band-Aid on that.
Luckily, we had the other Band-Aid.
But if you can see, I don't know if you can see. Can they see my leg? Look at my leg. Can they see my leg? I mean, look at that. I tore my leg to shreds. I mean, I'm a mess. And I'm sure tomorrow morning I'm going to wake up sore. But, man, what a day. Then I called you on the radio today.
You did. Yeah. It was traumatic for you and me.
Were you worried about me?
I don't know if you saw me jump up, but after
you jumped up to pick up the glass.
You went sliding past me. I said, are you okay? You were already hopping up.
Yeah.
So I knew you were okay. And I started picking up glass because I didn't want any little ones to get hurt. But you know how they say that when people stop laughing at you falling, you know you're getting old. You know, that you don't laugh at old people when they fall because you're so worried they're going to break a hip or something. What it was. Yeah.
These kids were so nice, too.
They were so concerned about you. I did ask everyone at the table if anyone had actually filmed it. You know, I thought maybe by some chance somebody was filming their friend and had it on camera. And that was going to be awesome footage.
I wish we had it on camera.
Yeah,
We'd have posted it if it was on camera.
Yeah, we would have done it in slow-mo. That would have been fun. Because it's in my head, you sliding by with your arms out and your legs up and like you were sliding into a base in baseball.
It happened really, really fast. I don't remember much of it, but I'm telling you what, man, it hurt.
Yeah. This is 2 podcasts recently that we've had to talk about you falling. What's going on?
Where did I fall last time?
The Easter dive that you did for the egg toss.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been on the ground too much lately.
What's going on?
I popped up from that one, too.
You did. You
strong like bull.
You still got it.
That's what I say, isn't it? Strong like bull.
No, we've had a busy weekend. We had little Nora Faye come to visit us.
Oh my god.
Little Eleanor came to visit.
Is she unbelievable?
She's so much fun. That little girl she fits all the stories you hear about redheads being feisty.
Yeah.
She has a mind of her own.
She does.
Is a busy girl.
She gets after it.
You hold her like a football and she just kicks the feet, tries to steer you where she wants to go.
But I'm telling you something, when you take her out, people come up from all sides and are like, look at the little baby.
Look at the hair. Yeah.
The hair is like nothing. I'm telling you, I love having grandbabies. I never thought that we'd have a curly-headed redhead.
Nope.
No. And she is beautiful.
She is. She is like a doll baby.
And I was here for Courtney, it was great to see little Ninny.
And she's so happy.
Always
she's
happy.
She's such a happy girl.
Yeah, even when she wants to cry, she's still happy.
Yeah.
She's crying and she's going. She does.
Exactly.
And let me tell you something now. She loves her big daddy. She loves
really
my
does.
voice.
She really does.
She thinks my voice, because she just sits there. She's one of those babies that she just stares at people.
Yeah.
Right?
You have to work for a smile with her. Like, she doesn't just think everything's funny like a lot of babies.
Yeah.
Like, she'll just stare at you like she's judging you a little bit.
Yeah.
But you really have to work to get her to laugh.
I love messing with her, though. It's so much fun to mess with her.
She's fun.
And she's a quick little crawler.
Oh, my gosh.
She needs to walk. She is so close to walking.
She actually took a few steps while she was here when she's not thinking about it.
Yeah.
Like, I posted that really cute video of her with the pool net outside.
Oh, yeah.
When she had that in her hand, she would take a few steps, and then it's like it dawns on her that, oh, I'm not supposed to be walking.
Yeah.
And she'd sit down and crawl. But, yeah, she's quick crawling.
She's a month away from being a year old.
Yeah.
And we're all going up there. We're going up to Seattle, the Seattle area.
To celebrate her birthday.
To celebrate her birthday and Clyde's little birthday.
Yeah.
Right? Clyde's going to be 3. She's
So
going to
the
be 1.
weekend before, we'll celebrate Clyde on his birthday. He's turning 3, and all he wants is a bounce house for his birthday. So.
Okay. What day is that?
He was born on May 16th.
And we're having it on that day?
We're actually having it on the 17th.
On the 17th.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good to know. I almost forgot about that. I don't want to plan a poker weekend.
I wouldn't let you. And it's in the calendar, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I got to tell you something. It really stinks to get old. I mean, I don't know. I think a younger person might have gone down with that too, because that daggone chair just came and got me, but maybe not. I mean, I think if I would have been 45 instead of 64, I probably would have been okay. But you're right. Everybody was just looking at me. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, as God is my witness, when I was in high school, I would have laughed at the old man. I hate to tell you that. I mean, I would have hoped he was okay. After I saw he wasn't okay, I was okay. I would have laughed. And then when I got back to school, I'd be telling everybody. I'd be saying, "You should have seen what we got at lunch today."
Well, you know, it runs in my family that the nervous laughter that we laugh.
You guys are terrible.
We laugh at inappropriate
Our
things.
daughter, Caitlin, and you.
And Chelsea. We all have this.
Chelsea's not as bad as you,
She's pretty
girls.
bad. Yeah.
Caitlin, I love her to death, but she's the worst. They could chop my finger off and she would laugh.
I think it stems from my mother.
Your mother does that?
My mother nervous laughs everything. She just does.
I don't understand that, because when someone gets hurt, and if there's someone especially that I love, I can't laugh.
Let me explain something to you. There was an entire TV show that lasted for years and years and years, America's Funniest Home Videos.
I know, and people falling apart.
And almost every video is somebody falling or getting hurt.
I know.
I don't know why. There's something comical about it, as long as you didn't really get hurt.
I remember when I was in the hospital and I was under morphine, when I was almost dying from my my whole colon thing and everything. And Caitlin came in there, and I told you, when I was on morphine, I knew everything that was going on in the room, but I couldn't react because I was just laying there like this. And I almost thought that she would start laughing, and she started crying. I looked really bad, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I looked really bad. But
that was not a laughing matter.
No, she did not laugh at that.
But falling is a funny thing. And I don't know why. It's like we keep the boys and they fall 14 times a day.
I know.
Those little guys. They're constantly tripping over. The other day, Calvin ran right into the garage door. It was opening it, and he took off running and literally ran face into the garage door. So they hurt themselves constantly. But you hit a certain age and you try to stay upright. It's a bad sign when you hit the age where you start falling again.
Well, it's just like everything else. You start like this and you end, and you're literally the same.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, old people have to wear diapers just like little people. I mean, it's like
the circle of life.
You go right back to what you used to be. So maybe I'm just going to start falling.
No, let's not do that.
The fall in the Easter egg thing was about...
That was a dive. That was more of a dive.
That was about as an athletic thing that any 64-year-old man could do.
Yeah.
It was big league.
That wasn't a fall.
No, you're right.
But I'm glad you're okay. You're here. We're doing the podcast.
Yeah. I got a feeling I'm going to wake up tomorrow and not be feeling great, but I'm okay.
Good.
When I take this Band-Aid off, though, I'm a little bit worried because I think I hit a vein or something.
Well,
there was a lot of blood.
We'll have to go get some of that super glue.
Did you see that daggone little tissue I had?
I did, sweetie.
I mean, it was like almost entirely red.
Everybody doesn't want to keep hearing about that, but We're all glad you're okay.
You won't even look at this thing.
I won't look at it.
Look at it. Look at it. She will not even look.
It hurts me to look at it.
She won't even look at it. I'll go, Jewel, look at this. She'll go, no.
You don't understand. I love you so much. I feel your pain. Like, when I see something.
I love me so much too, but I can look at it.
It's different. I can look at my own problems.
Well,
I just don't like.
That is bad.
Yeah.
It is bad. Yeah.
It looks painful.
Hey, you know what? I got to tell you something. We're talking about pain and everything. You were in a lot of pain when you were in a car accident. I had some pain, but I wasn't in the neighborhood of you. And we had the best lawyer you could ever imagine. We've known him for years, J.R. Holmesy, and he's one of the top 10 personal injury lawyers in the state of Oklahoma. And the things that he did, tell everybody what he did for you.
Well, he just helped us navigate the entire thing.
Which I never knew. I never knew lawyers would be able to help with doctors.
I just wanted a little help with the insurance company because they were refusing to talk to us, Yeah. They said, no, we heard no other car was involved in this accident. So I was like, what?
We were really frustrated. And you were in pain at the same time. Yeah.
But he was like, how are you feeling? And I said, well, I can't even move my neck. I mean, so he got us to the right doctors. They ultimately figured out what's wrong with me. I had the winging of the scapula. I mean, I would have never figured that out.
No.
I just thought I was never going to be able to lift my right arm again.
You were like Barney.
This was not good. But it was, that again was no laughing matter, but he helped us navigate the entire thing. And I don't know where we would be if we hadn't had him intervene. But, we pray that you're never in that position. But if you ever find yourself in an auto accident or some type of injury, or someone you love is that way, just have them call J.R. Holmesy and Associates.
Some people say to me, I've had a couple people say to me, well, he treats you different because of who you are.
Oh, no.
Our neighbors, the woman next door, we love them. She got in a big old car accident. We got him in touch with them. He did the same thing for her. He'll do the same thing for you. 405-524-1011, 524-1011. Call the man. He is big league. J.R. Holmesy and Associates. All right, what do we got today?
So tonight's podcast, we're going to dedicate to an old friend of yours, Diane Carlson.
Wow.
Sent me a link, and she said...
By the way, I call Dee Dee.
Yes, everybody that went to school. I know her, Diane Carlson, because she's my friend on Facebook and Instagram, and that's her full name.
Dee Dee, yeah.
But yeah, you grew up calling her Dee Dee, but... and she's become a friend of mine too.
Sweet. She's a sweet girl.
She's so sweet. But she's a faithful listener to our podcast, and she sent me a link, and she said, I think you'll enjoy this podcast. And I did enjoy it. So thank you, Dee Dee. This is a podcast. Some people will know this woman's name, but Mel Robbins Podcast. She's famous. And I've listened to some of her podcasts. Some people love her. Some people don't. But you know what I am when I'm listening to podcasts? It depends on who you're interviewing, and what the subject matter is.
Right.
And I was excited when I saw this one because you've probably seen snippets of this guy. But his name is James Sexton, and he wrote...
Another guy I know about.
Yeah. So he wrote a bestseller, How to Stay in Love. He's one of the top divorce attorneys in the world. So he's practiced law, doing divorce law for over 25 years.
Yeah.
So he just says he's got this unique vantage point or perspective, because he said most of the marital advice that you get is from somebody with a psychology background or a hypothetical or theoretical background.
Yeah.
And his is just as a lawyer, as a divorce lawyer, having seen all of it.
He's done men and women.
What?
He's done men and women. Right.
Yeah.
He's got it all. He's been around all of it.
Athletes. Yeah. He's been around it. But he said, here's the one thing. You should never lie to your lawyer or your doctor. But as a lawyer, you've got... you're subject to privilege. So they're there to protect you. You've got privilege. They can't ever share anything you tell them with anyone else. So he said, people open up to me and they tell me things. And so he's written this book based on his 25 years of information of dealing with people who've ended up in divorce court.
Okay.
And so I've seen little snippets of things he's done. I have not read the book. This podcast made me want to read the book. But if you don't have time for that and you're driving, and I would highly recommend you listen to the whole thing. I just wrote down a couple of some of my favorite points that he brought up so that we could discuss it. But there was just so many gems in this podcast that he gave that I completely agree with.
Now, we have said in our years of doing this podcast over 100 times, don't bring up the word divorce. What we're doing here is we're trying to have you see that you're not going to get the divorce.
Well, that's what this whole thing is him saying how to stay in love so that you don't need me.
Right.
From a divorce attorney.
Right.
And he's basically saying, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a counselor. I'm a divorce attorney. Like we say, we're not counselors. We're just a married couple who stayed together through trial and error for 30 years. But he really does have some wonderful advice that I think can help any married couple.
Okay.
So
let's do it.
See what you think.
I'm ready.
He kind of starts out with an analogy like, if you get a new car and you want to take really good care of this car, because you're like the last time we bought cars, we're like, let's drive this thing till the wheels fall off. We want to have this car forever, if we can.
Right.
He said, if you want to have a car last and you want to say, okay, how do I make sure that I maintain this car properly so I don't have a problem? You don't go talk to a car salesman. They don't know that. You talk to a mechanic. Mm-hmm. So that's where he was kind of using the analogy about he's a divorce attorney. So he's going to give you a perspective like the mechanic would. Like, here's where I see that things break in a relationship.
Okay.
And he also used another great analogy of staying in shape. That if you get in shape, it's easier to maintain, exercise and just maintain it, watch what you eat and all that, than just to give in, let yourself go, and then have to start all over again. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of his analogy about a relationship. Like, it's easier to maintain the relationship in your marriage than it is to just let it go. The relationship ends, and now you've got to start all over again with somebody new, right? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of his theory, is that which is a weird thing since he is a divorce attorney, that he's trying to prevent divorce.
Let me ask you this. Yeah. Did he say that when he had a client, did he try to help them? Or did he, because he's going to make a bunch of money.
So one of the things that he brought up, he didn't necessarily put it in those terms because she didn't kind of ask that. But
see, that's what I would have asked.
I thought one of the great things was, and it probably would have been a great follow-up question, one of the great things he said was that when couples are coming in, he asks them to write a letter to their potential ex-spouse, about the things that they appreciate about their ex, soon-to-be ex. And he said it kind of lubricates the conversation to go more positively if you start off with things that you really respect about your partner.
Now, there's got to be some that don't want a part of it.
But he said sometimes that created a situation where it really softened things up, and maybe they didn't go through with it.
Try it again, yeah.
Yeah. So it sounds like he tries not to antagonize, the other side.
See, that's an amazing thing because he's literally losing out on money, possibly.
Right.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Who does that? Well, he's got lots and lots of money. I know some of the people he's represented. He's got lots and lots of money. But still, even if he has lots of money, I think that's impressive.
Yeah. Well, he says in the podcast he's a believer in marriage. Like, he believes in it.
Is he married?
I don't think he is now. He was married. He got a divorce, which we'll talk a little bit about. Okay. And I think he's got a partner. Like, he says he's in love. So I don't know if that means he's in marriage. If he's married. I did not do the research on that.
Okay.
Sorry.
Sounds good. No problem.
So he just said, this was interesting. And I know you know this, but when you think about it, it's interesting. He said marriages are going to end. They're either going to end in divorce or they're going to end in death. And he said, my hope is your marriage ends in death, which is a really funny thing to say.
Yeah.
But it's true that when you choose somebody, you're saying till death do we part, right?
Yeah, it's your vows.
And so that's true that if you start with the death, like, how do I want this person to feel about me? What kind of life do I want to have with this person? He said he likes to look at it from that perspective and then work backwards. If I want my spouse or my partner to feel that way about me at the end, what do I need to have in my relationship to get there? Mm-hmm. And I thought that's a pretty cool way to view it.
Sure is, yeah. I think with all the divorce nowadays, I think it's really this sounds morbid, but I think it's really good if you can go all the way till death.
No, it's
huge.
It's
amazing.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because you and I have both been divorced. I really celebrate with people when they say I've been married 20 years or I've been married.
Oh my gosh.
Julie, 50 years. I mean,
we don't understand it, but for us to be married 30 years is incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, especially with all the things we've been through and me.
Well, especially in a second marriage, you know, like the odds are more against us.
Right. And you had 3 kids. I had 2 kids. I mean, we had a lot of things going against us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
pretty cool.
So absolutely.
We should be proud.
We should celebrate all marriages.
We want everybody out there to be married at least 30 years. Go 50. It's awesome.
Here's something I love because we say this to each other. He said that the most beautiful 4 words that you can say to somebody or they can say to you is, "You're my favorite person."
I started that with you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yes, you did.
Yep. And now you say it. I say it all the time. And it's true. It's not just like a stupid thing. You're my favorite person.
Yeah. And so she was kind of asking him, what are the things you have to do to make sure that you feel that way about each other? Mm-hmm. Like, how do you get there? And he said that he's going to give 2 contradicting statements, or they seem contradictory, because she was basically saying, what is a way for young people before they get married to know if this is going to be their person, right? And he said, I wish more people knew this. It's this idea that they will change. Like, people going into a relationship thinks, I know he drinks too much. I know he parties too much. I know she spends too much money, or she's messy, or she's, whatever the thing is. You
flirty,
think
whatever it is. Yeah.
When we get married, they're going to change.
Right.
And he was like, that's just insane to think that's going to happen. But the other statement is the idea that they're never going to change. He said, so like maybe you've found the perfect person, you think, and you think it's always going to be this way, that they're never going to change.
Right. Of course they're going to change.
He said, but we change. You grow older, you suffer losses in the relationship. Maybe you have health issues. There's all sorts of things that come up with children and everything else that you grow as a person, right?
Sure.
We're not going to stay stagnant as who we are. You continue to evolve as a human being, and hopefully you figure out how to evolve as a couple.
Now, there should be a third. His dude is a lot smarter than I am, and he goes through a lot of it, but I would say there should be a third one. The third one would be, if you really, really love somebody, you want to change for the better.
Yeah, I think, and he kind of touches on this, that you want to find somebody that you bring out the best in each other, right?
Yeah.
That you constantly are supportive, but also you challenge them to be the best human being that they can be. Mm-hmm. And that's how you know you're in a really great relationship, right?
Yeah.
Where you don't have somebody who's trying to stifle you or, criticize you or
I want to bring this part up. You and I are really, really good at that part, and always have been.
Yeah.
In the very beginning, when you were the daggone secretary or whatever you want to call it, and you started selling on the phone because there was no one to sell, and I continued to sell to you, hey, go for it. You're better than that. And you, at the time, you were a little bit down on you were. You didn't have a college education. You had these 3 little girls. You had a bad marriage. And I think that I brought you along, and I said, well, I want you to be big. And I kept pushing you until you were the president of the company. You, for me, with the Arizona Diamondback job, was like, go for it, man. That's great. I'd love to see you get that, blah, blah, blah. So I think that you and I have been incredibly supportive of each other. Don't you agree?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
That's one thing we have been great at our whole lives.
Yeah.
I think
both of us, you point out that I wasn't in a good place. You were in a really bad place.
Oh, I was worse than you. I was worse than you. I'll openly admit I was worse than you. I was depressed.
You were pretty beaten down.
I was beaten down by this woman. I was in bad shape.
And I think we both
you turned me
saw
around.
that in each other.
Yeah.
And
we wallowed a little bit early together.
No, I don't think we did.
Yeah, we were both we would complain about the other stuff that was going on.
But we shared what had happened, and we were super supportive with each other about how to move forward from that. But
I remember I used to tell you all the time, what an idiot this guy was to leave you and these 3 little girls.
Yeah.
Remember? But you left him because he was an idiot. But I'm saying, how in the world he couldn't get his life together to be with you and those 3 little, these girls were angels.
Yeah.
Angels. And they still are. I think it's the best thing. I've already said this before. Meeting you and then adopting those 3 are 2 of the greatest things that's ever happened to me in my life. And I think we were perfect for each other to make each other better.
Yeah. I definitely think that we did that.
Because I was ridiculous when you met me.
You and I are not afraid to challenge each other if we think the other should be doing more or better.
And I think that's a great thing to learn. And also, on the other side, if your spouse is trying to challenge you, don't take it the wrong way. I think that some people can be offended by that. Or like, you don't think I'm good enough right now?
I think it's important, and he talks a lot about that in here, about the framing of it.
Yeah, you don't be a jerk about it.
So in other words, he just said criticism is rarely a way to fix your partner, to fix your relationship.
Build them up.
None of us respond well to criticism. And so I think it just 1,000% is in the way it's framed and the way you bring it up. I think we've both gotten better about that. Like instead of saying, "Hey, you never want to kiss me. You're always standoffish. You're not," because mine is physical touch. We've talked about that a lot. I feel like you would say to me a lot in the beginning, "You're being a little too needy."
Well,
hold on. Let me just finish this thought before it pops out of my head. And I would say to you, "Why don't you? It was more of a critical thing with you. Why don't you want to do that? Is there something wrong with me?"
Yeah, you always thought there was something wrong with you.
And now what I say is, "Hey, I think you're the best kisser in the whole world. I love when you kiss me. I love when you hold my hands." And so it's all in the framing of not from a critical standpoint, but just a kind of a reward based.
And that's why every couple should read the love languages, because I would tell you this, see if you agree. Since we read that book and talked all about it and found out what our love languages were, I think that I have touched you and kissed you 1 billion times more than I used to. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
And I think that you, because mine is, what is it again?
Words of affirmation.
Words of affirmation. I think that you have learned to say to me, like I did an interview the other day on the radio and you were listening and you said, "That was unbelievable how good it was." That makes me feel really good. It does when you say something like that. Even if it stunk, I like that you say that it was good. But no, I think that book, people, I know, guys, I don't ever read. Okay? I don't ever read. Do this with your wife. I'm telling you, it'll help your marriage so much.
And listen to this podcast with her too.
Absolutely.
Here's one of the things he said you can do instead of criticism is just once a week, take a walk with your wife, hold her hand, and then say, "What are 3 things I did this week that made you feel loved?" I know you hate this kind of thing. It's kind of cheesy.
This is a little bit glad for me, yeah.
But it's kind of like getting in the habit of framing things that you really appreciated, and it's the little things. So I'll name one for you. Actually, there's 2 that kind of go hand in hand. But yesterday, after Courtney and Nora left, I was just wiped out.
Yeah.
The day before I'd had the boys. We'd driven to Stillwater that day. I didn't get home till about 9:30.
10.
I was feeling
you were worn out.
Yep. And then got up the next morning early, went to get the little boy, then had to pack them up, take them to the airport. And so we even canceled recording the podcast. I just said, "I can't do it."
Yep.
And you said, "That's totally fine. Go take a hot bath." And you said, "I'll stop by the grocery store on the way home and get the groceries." And you walked in with all the groceries and you had bought me some of my favorite candies. And that just made me feel loved, because I try to do that sort of thing and we try to go to the grocery store together. But I had just hit a wall. I was totally.
Which you never do.
Right.
But yeah,
I had hit a wall. I was
you were DUN done. Yep.
And that made me feel loved. And then on the flip side of it, you said to me last night, because I had put all the cold stuff away. I didn't put the stuff that didn't need to be refrigerated away. I'd left it on the counter.
Right.
Because I was just too lazy last night. And I got in bed really early and fell asleep. You had to stay up watching a game, and I just passed out. And I got up this morning and went to get the little boys, because I had both of them today, and came back, and you had cleaned up the whole kitchen, and the countertop was spotless.
I will say this. It wasn't like I was just thinking I'll do this for you. If I said we need to get this off of here because it was some sweet things and stuff, and that little boy, one of the little boys, went and going, "What's that? Let me get some of that." And then he found out we had got the little donut.
He found them anyway. Yeah.
But listen.
But that made me feel loved. It was just very thoughtful.
And you know what? The other night I felt horrific, and I went to bed really early, 8:00. I was hurting and thing. And it was the night to take the garbage out, and you took the garbage out.
Yeah.
So those are just some little tiny things that your spouse can say how much they appreciate you doing something, right?
Yeah. So when you do things like that, I think it's important. What he was trying to say is it's important that you verbalize that it's free,
and
just to thank them.
Guys, can I say one thing? Instead of getting onto your wife about why the heck she left all that stuff out, just put it away. She'll be happy.
Yeah.
You know? And I mean, and especially if you have kids and stuff, and she takes care of kids and stuff. I think the greatest job in the world is a mother. I do. I think it's the greatest.
It's the most important job.
When I was young, people used to talk bad about stay-at-home mothers, right? And I would watch my mom, and I think that she's amazing. Yeah. And I've taken that my whole life and thought, I think the greatest and most wonderful job in the world is being a mother.
Yeah,
I really do.
I think it is a complete blessing if you have the ability to stay home with your kids.
Yeah, and if you don't, that you still.
I don't think there's anything more important than that.
No.
And nobody's going to love and put the attention and time and. I just think nothing can account for that kind of love that your kids feel. They're not going to get that from anywhere else. Except maybe a grandmother. So if your parents can't.
And I was just going to bring that up. The other thing is that ladies out there, or guys, but ladies mostly, if you are a grandmother and your daughter or daughter-in-law has to go back to work or whatever, I mean, your mother watched all three of our girls, all three of them. Okay, now they were, like I said, they were angels. They weren't hard. Now, these little boys are the sweetest things in the world, but they get after it, okay, these two little boys, and you watch them all week.
I'm so grateful to have that opportunity. I don't think a lot of mothers have the option.
It's great for the kids.
But I'm just saying a lot of women don't have that option.
You're right.
I couldn't have stayed home with my kids. We needed that second income.
Yeah.
And so I'm just so grateful that my mom was able to do that. And I know that there's wonderful places that you can put your children, but yeah, it's sad that it had really become that way, that some women were looked down upon, that they didn't have a career. Because I think it is vitally important. And I think people are understanding that more now. Maybe.
I hope so. I think men need to say, guys, if your wife is a stay-at-home mom, one, don't tell her, go get a job. Two, tell her how wonderful she is that she does that, because it's not easy. Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but when I'm home with the kids, I'm like, what the heck is going on here? And the mother's just like, cruise through it. I mean, you do. You just got this thing inside you that God has given you. It's amazing.
Well, it's a blessing when you're able to do it. I wasn't able to do it. And
you regret that. You tell me that many times.
I do regret that.
Yeah.
But I'm getting my second chance with these grandbabies. Yeah. So going back into the divorce a little bit, since that's the job that he did, she asked him a lot about that. And he said that 85% of divorce involves infidelity in some form or fashion, which I thought was interesting. Probably not shocking, but 85% of the divorces he does, it involves some form of infidelity. And he said that clients will say, I did not stop loving my spouse. I still love my spouse, but my spouse didn't find me attractive anymore, or my spouse didn't appreciate me. We kind of talked about this last week, right? The lies we tell ourselves. Maybe my spouse doesn't make me feel beautiful anymore, and this other person made me feel good about me. So what he was trying to say is that divorce doesn't just happen overnight, right? Mm-hmm. It starts with these little lies. It starts with getting lazy,
not appreciating,
or maybe you appreciate and you're just not saying it out loud, that you take each other for granted. And so he was just saying that it builds up to that point. Like, they don't fall out of love with their spouse and fall in love with somebody else. It happens gradually over time.
And by the way, we've done a lot of podcasts about communication. That's another part of communication. Yeah. If you come home and you think your wife is sexy, tell her.
Yeah. Or even if she's not looking sexy, tell her.
Well, I mean, yeah, right. That's right. That's exactly right. Or if you come home and she looks haggard, then say, why don't you go get a bath real quick? I'll watch the kids or something like that. I think a lot of times, most of the times it's guys. I mean, there's women that do stupid things too, but usually the guys are the ones that make mistakes.
Well, I don't want to pin it all on the guys,
but
because
mostly true.
I feel like as a woman, there were times I didn't fully show my appreciation to you or verbalize my appreciation for you. You fall into the trap of taking each other for granted, that you're supposed to do that. Like, that's
right.
That's your job, right? You're supposed to do that. And I think we are much more intentional now about saying those things. But that's where men can end up feeling unappreciated, and then somebody else is giving them all the praise over here.
Yeah.
Because we've stopped saying that at home.
Right.
And so you feel that way, but you're just not saying it anymore.
And, this is a great time for me to say something. We talk all the time on this podcast that we're not counselors or, psychiatrists, none of that, right? What we do here, I think, and see if you agree with me, is 30 years of going through good and bad. We're trying, if you're married for 5 or 10 or 15, we're trying to help you guys not go through some of the bad things that we've been through.
Yeah.
By doing the things that we now do. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
I think that's like 100%. The number one thing about this podcast.
Yeah.
If you're having some problems after 5 years or 8 years or whatever, really work on some of the things that we're talking about, and you won't have some of those rocky years.
Well, here's a big one that he brought up. He said, if, as a divorce attorney, I could design an infidelity machine, since that's 85% of his business, right? He said it would be Facebook, Instagram, or social media. He said, if you are even vaguely unhappy or dissatisfied in your relationship, stay off social media. He said, there's nothing good there for you at all. He said, what you're going to find there is unhappiness masked as happiness. And I thought that was really smart.
Yeah.
What you're going to find there is unhappiness masked as happiness. And he said, nothing good there is for you. Nothing good is there for you. He said, because you're going to be sitting there dissatisfied. He said, probably, on the toilet, scrumming through social media, and you're looking at your gag reel. This is your life. And you're seeing everybody else's greatest hits. Like they're only putting their best pictures on there, or their happiest moments, or their
women aren't putting their hair in curlers and stuff.
Quotes, right?
Yeah.
So he said social media is the single highest breeding ground for infidelity, and that nothing else comes within 1,000 miles of it. I thought that was so fascinating. I mean, we've talked about that on here before, that I think it's been bad for marriages, right? But for a divorce attorney to say nothing else is even close to it, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty powerful. I don't think there's any doubt that it does give you the ability to wander,
Well, especially like you said, if you're even remotely dissatisfied in your relationship, or just bored or feeling unappreciated, or he said it gives you the ability to strike up a conversation with somebody that you might not otherwise go up and talk to. And then he said that, he said it's the equivalent of having like DMs, private messages, is the equivalent of going out to dinner with someone and sitting in a dark corner and just having a private conversation with them. That you wouldn't do that, right? Mm-hmm. If you're married, but that's what DMing is like. He said it is a form of infidelity. What do you think about that?
I think it's true. I mean, I think it's, I have a lot of women that follow me on Instagram, And you know me, I want everybody to like my show, and I want everybody to like me.
And you like words of affirmation.
I do like words of affirmation. And I've had some women, and I've responded back to them, and you've looked at me and said, what's going on here? And I promise you, it's not because I want to be with that person. It's because I like people to think I like the show, because I'll tell somebody else and the show will be better. So I've learned a little bit. I've learned to be better with that, I would think.
Yeah.
But it's true. I mean, it's very true, especially in a position like mine.
It's interesting that you brought that up, because he said the cure for preventing infidelity, for anyone wondering how do you handle it, is to monitor your own behavior. So he just said that essentially you say, if I wouldn't have a private conversation with this woman knowing my wife was standing over my shoulder, you don't have that private conversation, right?
Right.
And you just have to monitor your own behavior. You're going to expect your spouse is going to do the same thing.
Well, and I suggest you do what we do, and that is you can go into my Instagram anytime you want.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Like we don't hide passwords from each other or anything.
I mean, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Which helps too, because I can say, "Hey, Jewel, will you post this for me?" Because I'm clueless. But it also helps to see that it's almost like a checkup, And you're not sitting there looking every day to see if I'm doing something. But if you go and look, then you know what I'm doing.
It's
right?
kind of an accountability thing.
Yeah.
But for those of you who don't have that set up, I just think
you should do it. I think, but go ahead.
If it's kind of him saying, if I want this kind of marriage over here, how do I get that kind of marriage? And it's called discipline, right? And he defined that. He said, discipline is trading what you want now for what you want most. And if you want an unbelievable marriage, if you want the respect of your children and your family and all those things, it's self-discipline. It's monitoring your behavior. It's not doing anything that would that might cause hurt to your wife or your family, and it starts with those little things, right? Mm-hmm. He said, wherever you are, if you're slightly unhappy or dissatisfied, or if you're in a downward spiral and you're already in the valley, his whole thing is you can reverse course. Your marriage can be saved. And he's not talking about somebody who's in an abusive relationship or anything like that.
We're talking about what we talked about when we went through the valley.
Yeah.
We went and got Christian counseling.
Yeah.
And it was the greatest thing that ever happened for us, I think. I still believe that.
But I thought that was interesting that somebody that's been in his field for as long as he has been, he wasn't cynical. He said, I absolutely think people can reverse course. And she was like, how? Right? That's the big question, how? And he said the same way that things got started going wrong is the same way that you fix it. You just start small. And he said one of the easiest, most free things you can do is to leave your spouse a note before you go to work, or send a note throughout the day and just say, hey, I really enjoyed hanging out with you last night.
See, we do that with
You're
text.
the most beautiful girl in the world. Or if you're sending it to your husband, you say, hey, thanks for fixing that thing. My big, strong, handsome husband. Or, start reminding them of why you chose them, why you fell in love with them.
Yeah.
And suddenly you start seeing them reciprocate. And he said that's just a super easy thing to do. Yes, we do that with text throughout the day.
We text all day long.
Yeah.
During my show, I'll text you. You text me.
Yeah.
People don't know I call you every hour during my show just to check in and see how things are going, right? You know? It's the communication thing we talk about. Yeah.
Now, here's something I did want to bring up that he said, which is interesting. He said, if you can't think of 10 things you love about your spouse, then maybe you shouldn't be married to that person.
Jeez.
And I thought that was really interesting. He said some people should divorce, and that we should normalize that and normalize what a healthy divorce looks like. We had Jay Pitts on here, and we talked about he has one of the healthiest divorces, in my opinion.
Right.
They work like champs, like teammates. And that's what he was saying, that his ex-wife and him have a great relationship. They have a wonderful arrangement with their kids. It's been great. And that she's remarried. And he said she found somebody who, is the pot to her lid, right? They're perfect for each other. And I loved the way he explained that, because I do think when I got divorced anyway, especially my dad being a preacher. I was the first one in my family to ever get a divorce. It was such a stigma to me. I felt like such a failure that I had gone through this divorce, and it wasn't a healthy dynamic, right?
Well, there was a failure, but it wasn't you.
Right, but you feel like a failure.
Sure you do. And I felt like a failure. Same thing.
He was essentially just saying that you should celebrate people who were able to divorce and have a healthy relationship. And he said, honestly, that's the majority of couples that he deals with. He said, you get this impression that the majority is going to be these people who hate each other and can't be in the same room together. He said, but that's not really true. And I thought that was refreshing because neither of us had that experience.
I don't know how Jay does it. I don't know how other people do it. You know, I mean, I just, you know.
Well, here's what he said. He said, you've got to remember that you've got two people who once were in love and had a deep connection. They grew apart. They lost that connection. They got a divorce, but they still have kids in common. They still have extended family in common. And maybe they don't love each other anymore. Maybe they're even a little bit angry with each other, but you know what? They love the kids more.
Yeah, that's the problem with our ex-spouses.
Well, I feel like it has to do with maturity, right? Like you're mature enough to know what's the most healthy thing for my kids. And the most healthy thing for your kid is, even if you're not great as a married couple, you can be great for them as a divorced couple.
Yeah.
And so I did love that. I loved the encouragement that he had. And I loved how he painted that his ex-wife was able to find somebody who was the perfect person for her. And I feel like that's what you and I found, right?
Sure.
That second time.
Yep.
But there was, I did feel a stigma on me for a lot of years of, you know, being this divorced mother with three babies.
Right.
As a man, did you feel that as much, or is that kind of
I felt like I was a massive failure.
Really?
Listen, I turned down $1 million to go back to Japan because I wanted to keep the marriage together, and I knew that it wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew that it wasn't going to go anywhere, but I had to do it, man. I was like, I got to do it for my kids and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was just all I did was get more hurt.
Well,
but I did meet you guys.
Yes.
Which is the greatest thing ever.
God works it out.
Mysterious ways. Exactly right.
But I did love that. I felt like that was encouraging because, you know, I do say all the times, I do think it's best for the kids if you can make it work as in a marriage. But sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it's not going to get better, and that's not healthy for the kids. And you and I were in that situation where it was not going to be
I don't
healthy.
like what he said about how, you know, there is going to be divorce. He doesn't say one thing about going to a Christian counselor.
It's not a Christian guy, sweetie. I mean, they're not coming at it from that perspective.
Well, I want to let our people out here know that we don't believe in divorce, even though both of us were divorced. If it's ugly, yes. If it's ugly, yes.
I think you're saying that incorrectly. Okay. It's not that we don't believe in divorce. We just believe that's a last resort.
You got to try.
Yeah. And I think both of us in our marriages tried, but we know so much more now, right?
Yeah.
And so it is a last resort. But I do agree with him. You and I were in impossible situations. It was not going to get better. It was not going to be healthy for the kids. No. And we did what we had to do. So I appreciated that part of it. He said that the surest sign that someone is headed for a divorce is if he's in a room and he sees a couple. He said it's not something that they say, it's a sound that they make. So like their spouse starts talking and the other one is like, ugh, and rolls her eyes. He said it's just those little subtle signs of disrespect or resentment that he can tell they're headed that way. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I've never been in that situation, but I can see what he's saying. I mean, you know, but maybe like the little, you know, like laughs about what someone's saying when they don't, you're just letting everybody know that's not true.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can see that.
Or that you just don't have any respect for them, or why are you interrupting me kind of thing. Mm-hmm. He said the other sign that he sees is when he watches a couple and one of them's talking to the other and the other one won't put down their phone. And he screams into the podcast and he was like, put your freaking phone down. And I thought, yes, amen.
Yeah, when you're talking to your wife, absolutely.
Anytime you're on your phone and ignoring your spouse, you're saying that's more important than your spouse is, right?
Sure. I totally agree.
Yeah. You and I go into this a little bit. Like, we'll be in the middle of a deep conversation at lunch and you get a text and you look at your phone and I get so frustrated. And you'll be like, well, somebody texted me.
Yeah, you're right.
And I say, I don't care. That was not the time to check your phone. But yeah, I do think, I mean, I don't know. That's how I feel. I feel that way. What about you when that happens?
You know, here's my deal. I don't think you do anything disrespectful to me anymore. I really don't.
Wow, that's nice.
I mean, I know that you have a tremendous amount of respect for me. I hope you know that I have a tremendous amount for you.
Sure, yeah.
If somebody, I am trying to get over the thing about, somebody, I got to look at it. But I really don't. Do you think I ever look at you and think you're disrespecting me? I don't think that happens anymore. It happened in the past.
I was just wondering if I'm checking your phone while you're trying to tell me something. I don't know that I do that.
Now, you said something to me the other night that I'm going to bring up.
Okay.
That I did say it was disrespectful.
Okay.
Do you remember?
I do not. Am I going to be upset you're going to bring this up?
We were sitting on. No, I don't. I hope not. We were. I mean, you can always take it off if we need. We were sitting on the couch, and we were watching a show that we hadn't watched in a couple days.
Oh, yeah. I remember.
And there were some things I couldn't remember. I was like, now who's he married to? And blah, blah, blah. And you started to get aggravated with me that I was asking these questions. And you talked to me mean. And I said to you, Julie, I'm getting older and I'm not going to remember things. And I wish you would not talk to me. That really hurts my feelings. Do you remember that?
I do.
And I thought you were being pretty disrespectful to me because I know I was bothering you, but I'm getting old and sometimes I can't figure out what's going on.
Right.
Right? Remember that? So that was one time that I thought you were a little bit, but other than something like that, which is just some little dumb thing, I think you treat me with unbelievable respect.
Yeah. Well, that's just a great example of I didn't mean it that way.
I know you didn't. You wanted me to shut up so we could watch the show.
Wouldn't stop talking.
That's what's wrong with being married to somebody that talks all the time, people. I talk a lot.
We have a rule that if you're going to do that, he's got the remote, he has to pause it to talk.
Right.
And he wasn't pausing it.
Yeah.
But
you know what? We got through it like that,
It was a great example because of how easily resentments can build up. Because if you hadn't have said that
but it went away.
then.
Yeah, you're right.
I wouldn't have known. You would have stayed hurt.
You're right. Exactly
I wouldn't have been able to apologize because I didn't think I did anything wrong, right?
Yep.
And so that just perfect example of how it can all add up. Now,
I agree.
He said that the worst time to learn how to fight is in the middle of a fight. So a great thing for you young couples out there, and it'd probably be great for us, is he said have a set of boundaries, like what are the low blows, things that you cannot. Just remember, whatever you put out there, you can't take back.
Aren't we past that?
This is for a marriage podcast
but you said
that
us
we're
too,
doing.
though. You said us
no,
too,
the
though.
second one is that you have a safe word.
Tippy toe.
Like, that doesn't have anything to do with anything. Like, how about those Mets?
Yeah, right.
So when you're really mad about something, you say it, and it just automatically lets the other one know, I'm getting really mad. I'm going to probably say something I don't want to say, so let's take a break. It doesn't mean we're never going to come back to it. It just means, you know what, let's
I understand that, but I don't know. That goes along with some of the other things that I've said. I just think if you're getting ready to have a brawl, it's always good to cool down. Yeah, you're right. This is really good for the younger couples. Because I don't think we do a lot of this anymore.
We had a big fight this past week. We had a really big fight over something just stupid. I'm not even going to bring it up. But
give me a hint. I don't even remember it.
You came in fired up about something.
Oh, that's right. That's exactly right.
I was so excited for you to get home.
My bad. Yes, I was in a bad mood.
I had like 2 hours without, and I thought we can snuggle on the couch, watch one of our shows, and you came in fired up about something and just would not let it go. And if I would have said, how about those Mets right there? you would have known, let's shut her down.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, the whole night went spiraling because of that. So yeah, it still happens. I bet it happens with every couple now and then. Not often for us anymore, but it does work.
I'm not saying we don't argue and fight. I'm just saying that
not as often.
No, and I think that we get over it quick too.
And here's the last thing that he brought up.
I know one thing. The next day you were lovey because you knew that there was a little something going on that didn't make me happy. But of course I was the same way to you.
What are you talking about? Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a brawl after this show. No, I'm just kidding.
It's just funny sometimes hearing your perspective on things.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, last thing. What? The most important way to preserve and take care of your relationship, super easy, is just pay attention. I loved that. Just pay attention. You know?
Yeah.
I feel like you're great at that. Like, you know when something's off with me. I know when something's off with you.
Yeah.
You know why? Because we're paying attention.
I pay attention.
Yeah.
No doubt about that. I pay attention to you. I definitely do that.
Yeah.
And I try to pay attention to the girls and everything else like that. So, but yeah, sometimes there's things that make you put your attention other places. But I think I always pay attention to you. And I think you do me too. So we're good at that one.
I think
but it is important.
That's the important thing. Here's what I loved about his podcast. He's like, I'm not selling anything. Well, he's selling a book, actually. Oh. But, he's not selling anything. He's not, all the advice he gives is something easy and free, and it makes sense. And it's just the maintenance that you can do to preserve what should be the most important relationship in your life and in your kids' lives, right?
Right.
So I thought he had a lot of great advice. I will preface again, this is not in any way religious at all. So obviously you and I would throw in pray together and all those things that we've given on here. But this was just some tips from a divorce attorney.
Tell the people
on how to stay in love.
Mel Robbins is the woman, right?
So Mel Robbins, it was her podcast. And his name is James Sexton. And he's the author of How to Stay in Love.
How to Stay in Love.
I would recommend listening to that podcast.
So, this week I had another guy on Instagram tell me that he had a good friend that was drinking too much and he wanted to get help. So, guess what? Boom. Got with Jeremy, got the guy's number together. He's going in, I believe, this weekend. It's wonderful, isn't
awesome.
it?
Yes.
It's amazing. Rob's Ranch is just, wow, man. I'm so happy that we're affiliated a little bit with them. But if you know somebody that is addicted to something, this is the place. It is a Christ-centered recovery center for men. Now, they have another one that's an outpatient in Edmond, Oklahoma, that is for everybody. But the one in Sayre and the one down in Purcell, is it Purcell? No, I always say that. Yeah, I always can't remember. I think of that. But anyway, the one in Purcell is for men. And I'm telling you, people, that men come out. I've seen so many men lately. I was there 3 years ago. I was there 2 years ago. I was there 5 years ago.
They've come up to us at dinner, and
I know.
Yeah, I love it.
It's awesome. robsranch.org. And if you just want to donate some money to them and help them, go down to the bottom of the page and look at donate. By the way, everybody, go to YouTube. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on everything, wherever you get your podcast. But we got a channel. We got our channel.
Anywhere you listen to the podcast, just like and subscribe, and that helps us. That helps boost our podcast.
We're getting YouTube, though, going, so we love that, too, as well. Love you, Jewel.
I love you.
All right, we'll be back next week with the Julie and Jim Traber podcast.